Kindness is often misunderstood. People think kindness means always being agreeable, always saying yes, always showing up with a smile even when you're crumbling inside. But real kindness, true kindness, isn't about self-sacrifice. It's not about shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's comfort zone. It's about giving from a place of strength, not depletion. It's about offering your presence without losing your peace. There's a line, delicate and often invisible, between being kind and being a doormat. And too many people cross it, not because they're weak, but because they've never been taught how to love themselves while loving others. Ria was the kind of person everyone depended on. Always the first to volunteer, always the one who stayed late, who listened patiently, who offered her time, her energy, her heart. People loved her for it, or so she thought. Over time, appreciation turned to assumption. She won't mind. She's always there. Just ask Ria, she'll do it. One day, she overheard someone say it out loud, almost dismissively. And in that moment, it hit her, not as a compliment, but as a realization. They weren't valuing her. They were using her convenience as a cushion. Her kindness had become expected, not appreciated. It made her question everything. Why did she always say yes? Was it love or fear? Fear of disappointing people, fear of being labeled difficult, fear of being abandoned. That's when she understood. Her kindness had a shadow. It wasn't just generosity, it was self-erasure. She started to say no, softly at first, uncertain, guilty. Some people got upset. Others pulled away. But those who truly respected her stayed. And something changed in her. The exhaustion began to lift. She started to breathe deeper. Her smile became real again. Because for the first time in years, she was kind not just to others, but to herself. Arav had a different story, but the same wound. As a child, he learned to be quiet to avoid conflict. To say yes when he meant no. To take the blame so others wouldn't get hurt. He thought being agreeable would keep the peace. And maybe it did, but it also took pieces of him along the way. As an adult, he became the guy who was always easy to work with. Who never complained. Who picked up slack without being asked. But deep inside, he felt invisible. After years of pleasing everyone, he realized he didn't even know what he wanted anymore. He was exhausted, not from doing too much, but from constantly denying himself. One evening, after helping a friend move for the third time without even being asked how his day was, Arav sat in his car in silence. That's when the loneliness hit him. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the kind that comes when you're surrounded by people but none of them see you. He understood something painfully true. When you're always available, people stop checking if you're okay. They just assume you're fine because you never say otherwise. He wasn't fine. He was empty. And it wasn't anyone's fault. It was his pattern. He had taught people how to treat him by never speaking up, by always putting himself last. So he stopped. He started asking himself, do I want to do this? Before saying yes. He began to communicate when something didn't feel right. It wasn't easy. Some people were surprised, even offended. But slowly, his relationships changed. The ones that were built on guilt and obligation faded away. And what remained was real. It was mutual. For the first time, Arav wasn't being liked for what he gave. He was being respected for who he was. And that felt like freedom. We're taught that kindness is about never hurting anyone. But the truth is, when you constantly deny your truth to protect others, you hurt yourself. And that hurt compounds. It turns into resentment, into burnout, into a version of you that smiles on the outside but quietly screams inside. Kindness is not about being liked all the time. It's about being honest. It's about being firm when you need to be. It's about having the courage to say, this doesn't work for me, even when it might disappoint someone else. Because real kindness doesn't abandon truth. It stands beside it, gently but firmly. Setting boundaries doesn't make you rude. It makes you responsible for your energy, your time, your mental space. People may not like it when you stop being what they're used to. But your job was never to meet everyone's expectations. Your job is to live a life that feels whole. To love others without abandoning yourself. To serve without being stepped on. To help without being hollowed out. You're not here to carry everyone. You're here to carry your truth, your integrity, your peace. Some will call you selfish when you begin to prioritize your needs. Let them. That word, selfish, is often weaponized against those who are finally choosing themselves after years of neglect. It doesn't mean what they think it means. Because there's a difference between selfishness and self-respect. One takes from others to feed the ego. The other protects the soul from being consumed. So if you've ever been called too nice, If you've ever felt used, drained, unappreciated, if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling small because you couldn't say no, know this: you are allowed to change. You are allowed to stand tall. You are allowed to protect your softness with strength. Kindness is not weakness. Boundaries are not cruelty. And love, when rooted in truth, does not require your suffering. The kindest people aren't the ones who give endlessly. They're the ones who give wisely, who know when to speak and when to step away, who honor others without dishonoring themselves. They are soft, but not spineless, giving, but not gullible, warm, but not worn out. And in that balance, between heart and backbone, lies the kind of kindness that changes the world. So remember, kindness doesn't mean being a doormat. It means standing with an open heart and a firm spine. It means saying, "I love you, but I won't lose myself for you." It means giving, not because you're afraid to say no, but because your yes is sacred. Kindness is not about keeping the peace. It's about making sure you have peace too. And that kind of kindness is powerful